this?
It's my snacks.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's my.
Did you not bring snacks?
If you guys get into it,
I bought snacks.
I think we might have started the podcast already.
See, because I bought some biscuits and some dips just to. Oh, and look, it's from Chris as well.
Yeah.
Chris is.
Yeah.
I know.
It's a bit
exactly
of a
how
power
I
move
thought
already.
this
I know
was
you
gonna
like
go.
kombucha, so
Yes.
kombucha.
That's
And
quite.
I was going to get you a coffee from White Horse, but because I know you like cappuccinos, large ones.
I do. Wow.
But I just got you a diet.
This is my second option of drinks. So
Don't
that's
worry, I do my research.
It's product placement.
That's what good friends do. Oh,
You were too quick for me.
Sorry.
Oh.
Don't put it on the microphone. Far out.
spilled it everywhere. Anyway, so
We're on
that was
here.
really kind.
has anyone else brought in snacks before?
Someone brought chips.
I was going to say I felt like chips is the.
I can't remember who brought chips. Braden would know, but he's not on this pod. I
had a sponsor last time. I had Red Bull.
We've got heaps of sponsors today. Chris's.
I only bought that one because I had Chris on it.
Is this like that cheese dip you made at community group?
No,
Have you ever heard that story?
No.
He got a whole block. He turned up to Bible study. And he's like, I wanted to bring something, nice for people to eat. I was like, bring snacks or whatever. He got a whole block of cheese, it was a reasonably small block, and just melted it in the microwave.
Oh my gosh.
with refried beans or something like that. It came from a recipe on the internet, so I'm like, it's legit.
When was this? Was this early internet days?
It was a long time, but it also, no one ate it.
I tried it. It was horrible.
It's a little bit like fondue.
Sorry for trying things.
That's fine. Thank you for bringing a kombucha. I did bring my snacks because I feel like I might need to be in between the two of you today. Welcome back to the Chip Lunch podcast. We've already started, so it's great to have you along with us. And so we're having this will be titled Controversy Part 3. Oh. So there's probably.
What was yours called, Kath?
Oh, it was something godly.
Yeah, right.
I'll look that up.
It's about identity, I think.
Yeah.
But that wasn't me. That was the lovely creators of the podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Nothing to do with me.
That's that was when I was away. You recorded that when I was away, so
correct.
It probably
and
wasn't
I
me
have
that
to
titled
say,
it. Probably give it to Heck the title credit. Sorry.
It was Ethan, I think.
It was Ethan. Oh. Starts with E.
I listened to the first controversy or controversy, however you like to say it.
Oh yes, which way do you say that?
I like controversy, but it's not. It's like I feel like it just fighting an uphill battle. With some words. So like braying. Braying's a word now. My children, all of them say it. No, I think it's going to be because all my kids, everyone just says it.
I hate it. Footy players say use. Use.
No.
Use a good.
Use a do.
I've done a good job.
Use have done a good job.
Like, yeah, it's just.
I think, but this is how language works, so that's fine.
It adapts.
Sounds
bogan.
But I listened to the first one and I was like, false advertising. There was not enough controversy in that podcast for me.
Well, as I stated in the second one, you wait till you see how much got cut out.
Oh, maybe I want to. Can we listen to the B reel or whatever it is? The B-sides of
from the cutting room floor. Chris.
It'd be Chip.
Chris turned up. Rating on it or something.
Yeah, Chris turned up the last episode. That was 2 weeks ago. And he'd been up since like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then had a Red Bull just before we started the podcast. It was all over the place.
That's not a good idea.
He was going on about. He started doing conspiracy theories and stuff. We had to cut that out. He didn't really. It just sounded like you were.
It kind of was actually. When you think about it.
Oh, so it's the abridged version we got then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Still, a lot of inaccuracies in your most recent podcast.
Wow. Is this why you've come on, Kath?
Why I'm here today. Yeah, because...
the title for your podcast was The Only Identity That Matters.
That's right.
That was your title.
Yeah.
And Chris's was Controversy or Controversy. I'm going to say, imagine if I caught that. If you're watching this on YouTube, I just opened up one
Chris
of
is the only one.
It might have only been behind your... So maybe no one saw that.
Oh, it definitely popped up there. Okay. So I actually opened my... what do we call
protein
these?
Ball? Is it protein?
Yeah, holy hazelnut. So very, very appropriate for the podcast. Nut butter filled balls. So that's what I brought for a snack because I thought that I might need to just, first of all, I'm sitting in the middle, so I didn't have to get I might have to get in between you two
That's
if anything
correct.
goes down. Second of all, I opened it up and it popped right up into the
It's
air.
already, along with the theme, it's like extreme.
Yeah,
The ball, I mean.
could be. Thanks for ruining my flow.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Why don't we discuss why you're here, Kath? Because you
Yep.
you felt like you needed to air your grievances,
Correct.
and it's good to get it on wax, as they say, on the internet. So
I don't understand
everyone
what
knows.
controversy there was because that's how I remember it.
Yeah, there's two sides to every
If you
story,
want
Chris.
if you want a YouTube boxing match out of this, you're going to have to play along a little bit.
I think we've established that Chris is the far more physically
He's a boxer.
capable person out of the two of us. So this is not going to be a fair fight if it's
Were you
boxing.
injured in that?
Okay,
Story?
I'm going to give you here's my
Here we
side
go.
of this
This is
story.
when you tackled Kath at school.
Yes,
Is that what
because
we're
she
talking
tried
about?
to
So
steal.
we were in year 7.
Right.
Like I went to Kirrawee High School, and there was lots of students. Didn't know most of the students as is the case. Near the beginning of year 7, I'm this like tiny girl who is not very physically capable, and so we're playing softball. But I could play softball, so I was more comfortable with the game.
It was T-ball because it was on a tee.
Whatever.
Just saying.
Okay, well you would remember that
It
detail.
had bases. It had a bat
It had
and a
bases,
ball.
and we ran.
Yep.
And
Not rounders though.
not rounders.
Yeah, rounders is another version of that,
Oh,
which is where baseball came from originally.
I did play softball, so I kind of had a bit of like outside of school. So I had for a bit. So I had a bit of experience and felt a bit comfortable. And you're right.
I'm burping.
Chris is just hiding his burp from the microphone.
You felt comfortable for the first time at high school?
No, I didn't feel fully comfortable, but I was more comfortable with this game than other games. And so yeah, like we were playing this game. I got to, it was first or second. I feel like maybe second.
Chris said second in the story.
Yeah, and
Details don't matter.
and so I didn't know Chris yet. And you said something like, you better not steal the base. And like to me, I was like in my brain, because I don't think I actually said anything, but I was like, excuse me? Like, you better not steal the base. And then I was like, well, I'm going to do that now. Like, and I thought to myself, what's he going to do? Like, he's not going to do anything.
You'll see what I'll do.
And so, obviously very much underestimating Chris's reaction to stuff like that. I then was like, yeah, I'll do that. Someone hit the ball. I made a run for it. And then suddenly I was on the ground and I couldn't breathe. And I was like, and I'd never experienced being winded before in my life.
You winded it?
Yeah, you did.
It's a learning experience.
It was really full on.
Teachable moment.
Oh, mate. I was like, oh no, I can't breathe. I'm dying. Like, I can't breathe. I was really freaking out for a minute. And then I realised I could breathe. But everyone, I think the teacher could see I was struggling. And when I got up, and so this is the funny thing. You sold that story like you were the winner. And I was like, that is incorrect. Because you know who won that day? My team. And do you know why they won? You know why we won? We won because we were loaded bases at that moment, and all 4 of us got to have a home run because of the fact that you tackled, and then our team won. And so I feel I was the winner that day, even though I got winded. And it did give me a little heads up about, who you were as a person at that
Shallow
time.
victory, I'd say.
Victory nonetheless. Yeah, so that was, and then I was just like, who is this crazy guy? And there was some stuff he did at school, and I was like, this guy is crazy.
Oh, like, what did he do?
Which one's he going to say?
Which one am I going to say? Which one are you going to say? Oh, well, I'm going to, one thing I remember is you headbutted a window. Like full on head, and it broke. It was like shattered. Yeah, like not safety glass. It was like,
I can tell this story.
Yeah, you tell it.
We got out of class early. I remember doing woodwork. We got out early. We walked down this ramp, and then I saw Norm, my mate, and I'm like,
Norm, what is this? The 50s?
I remember Norm. That's not his actual
That's not his
name.
Norm. That's what we always called him.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's why I had to clarify.
No.
Keep going.
Anyway, so I saw him, and I'm like, I'll get his attention. So
In class, he was in class.
I put my fingers up like a horns, and I charged like a bull, and I thought I'd just tap the window. I just tapped it, and it shattered.
Weak
And then I'm
class.
just like, uh-oh. So I tried to walk off, and trying to act like nothing happened and try and blend in. But I had this trickle of blood going down my face. So it was kind of pretty obvious who did it.
No.
Anyway, so that's one of the crazy things.
I don't even know. You know how you can create memories in your brain? Like you can convince you. So I've pictured this in my head. And I know the classroom and I know the window. So I don't know if I've created that or if I was actually behind. Like my perspective is from behind you, which is super weird because I don't know if I was actually there. But now in my brain I like, yeah.
What year were you in?
7 or 8.
Early
or 9.
again. Well, we
No,
went
it
in
would have
this,
been year 9, wouldn't it?
maybe. I just remember turning up to Rev 21, which was youth group for 9 and 10 at the time, and you were there, and I was like, oh no, there's Chris.
Well, you headbutt me.
I just was like, nah. And that's the first, so I took issue with your story, incorrect.
Yes, love this.
I also took issue with you calling me your nemesis. Do you know what the definition? Let's go to the definition of nemesis.
I thought.
Can I just?
The fights you two have had, you just need to bring me in.
Okay.
You may not be able to hear
I can
that.
think of
That
quite a
is-
few.
Stu's just interjecting here.
That's our senior pastor.
We've grown as people.
You had to go to different community groups.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah,
What?
we're recording.
Yeah, we've.
If you didn't realise, Stu, our senior pastor, is now. Oh, no, talk about me! No. He's over there with Joey, our pastor from Ryde, having a very serious conversation, and starts yelling at us from the other side
Yeah.
of the church.
Huh?
Unless
No.
you keep yelling at us.
Yeah, if you keep yelling, we want you to go.
Yeah, we're just meant to be yelling at each other right now.
That's right.
So I'm going to give
Definition
you
of
the
nemesis.
definition of nemesis. The inescapable agent of someone's or something's downfall is the nemesis.
I stand by it.
a long-standing rival or arch enemy.
That sounds more appropriate, that
Yeah.
definition.
A rival,
But
yeah.
I actually think perhaps a better word is antithesis, which is like a person who's quite opposite to you.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So
Yep.
antithesis, I
Let's
think
go
I'm
through
more
them.
comfortable.
First of all, he's a man, you're a woman. That's one.
That's yes. But
And
like, because I think, and I think maybe we started off as nemeses, and now we're like
I think
more
we
of
did too.
antitheses.
This is the story we want to tell
Yeah.
today, right?
Because I'm thinking about, because I'll paint the picture. We've known each other for 30 years.
Yes,
Oh my goodness, how old are we?
almost 30 years.
Yeah, anyway, so
you
that's
guys
about-
are-
Yes, we
so
have.
you
Yeah,
guys
sorry.
are-
Yeah,
30
we're
years.
42 this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you're in your 60s.
So known each other for 30 years. We haven't been friends all that time.
No.
I don't even know when we started to become friends.
By the time we were in year 12, I think
Yeah,
we
something like that.
became friends because
finished
when we were on
in
schoolies, we
year
were
12?
friends. We were
Kristen-
friends on schoolies.
You didn't leave.
Yeah.
You left school early.
I left a tad early.
Oh,
yeah.
but you.
But you came to schoolies.
I still came to school.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Of course I did.
And did you not? If you weren't in the midnight boggle game with me and you weren't paying me out, then you were my friend. And if you were in the midnight boggle game and you were paying me out, maybe not so much.
Wow.
Well, because midnight, I'd never be up that late.
Yeah, and he doesn't know many words.
Yeah, you'd smash
It wouldn't
me.
matter because this game you could make them up, and at the time, at that age, I,
But you know what,
wasn't.
I reckon-
I wasn't cool with that.
Oh yeah, no, really? That age? What about now age?
I'm aware of myself more than I used to be, and it depends on the game. I tell myself now, Catherine, the rules don't matter in this version of the game for these people, so it shouldn't matter as much to you.
Do you talk to yourself that much?
All the time.
That's third person, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're like, Catherine.
Yes. Sometimes out loud. When no one's around, yeah. But I do, self-talk. It's a healthy thing.
Sure, I just don't say my name.
I do.
I don't
Sometimes
go-
when I'm
Don't
in...
you have like an inner monologue and then sometimes
Yes.
it just comes out?
Yes.
I do. That's what I do.
No, that doesn't happen. Is that an old person thing?
Excuse me? How much younger are you? Like 2 years younger or something?
2 years? Are you saying I'm 40?
I don't know how old you are.
How dare you?
Everything just plateaus for me. You know, once you become an adult.
Are you saying that I've plateaued?
Oh, for goodness sake, Joel, it's not all about you.
Hey, you've been talking for ages about your stupid
That's
relationship.
literally the point that we're here for.
I think the first time I wouldn't say notice you because it sounds like I'm got a crush on you or something.
No.
But it was the
First-
year
yeah.
10 formal.
Oh, yeah.
Because, and that's a funny story with that as well.
Oh.
because she went to the year 10 formal with Nick.
Her
Akron.
now wife?
No,
Not now
It was-
wife.
it was
Now-
Nick
I was
and
going to say
Kath.
now husband, but that's still
And
incorrect.
then Nick
Yeah.
ended up with another Kath.
Yes,
And then you
after
end up
that.
with, and then years later you end up
Yeah,
with a
it's
Nick.
true. That's just
But
how it works.
Yeah, that was the first time I'm like, oh.
Maybe we
like,
just
So
like
when you
the
were talking
name
to yourself out
of the
loud,
person.
when you were talking to yourself out loud, something happened there? So like Kath. It was like a...
For
you
him,
know,
though?
Yeah,
Like,
backmasking or some kind of thing.
No,
like
no.
Kath. It's like, well, I need to keep going with Kath.
I think in the year 10
Maybe.
formal, Kath got a tattoo with Nick on it. And then she's like, and then when they didn't last very long,
A real
she's like,
tattoo?
I just have to
Yeah.
go with the Nick now. So that's how Breen came about.
Right. That was a better
It's not
joke
right.
than mine. Thank you.
It's not right. He's a good guy. I possibly was like, oh gosh, this is awkward. It's the same name. Maybe I shouldn't pursue
It was
this.
just funny because Nick and Kath went to the year 10 formal together and then ended up with, there was two Nick and Kaths, but
Yeah.
it was bizarre.
It is bizarre.
Anyway, but that was the first time I'm like, oh, actually, like, I don't know, because Nick was one of my good
Your
mates.
friends, yeah. And I wasn't really in
And I'm
your.
like, why,
I wasn't in that
why is he
circle.
asking her? And then, in all honesty,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, oh,
Why?
actually, and then getting to know you then. I think that's about then.
Yeah, and
about
we went to youth group, and so
Yeah.
that was the other thing. Yeah.
So
What does your inner monologue usually consist of? Just before we forget about that point.
I tell jokes and stories.
To make yourself laugh and entertain yourself.
Absolutely, I always say I'm my own biggest fan. I'm not-
That's
I
good.
don't-
Look, if you can't be your own biggest fan, how can other people?
Mate, I
do
make
that like
myself
me?
laugh, and I'm
That's
hilarious. I don't care if no one else laughs. Look at my last podcast.
Nice.
Let me check. I don't know if many have.
The 20 views are all Chris. Just viewing it again and again.
Yeah, it just keeps clicking on it
listening.
again and again. Yeah, that's right. Right, so let's where did this initially nemesistic relationship?
Nemesisy?
I'm making up words now.
Nemesistic?
Where did this continue on? Because you've mentioned a few stories, but so you're initially like who is this crazy dude? Kath?
Yeah, I was like, this guy is. I was like, you're a what is it? A loose cannon. Yeah.
Oh, loose cannon is
Which
a good
is
description.
was that not true?
Fair enough.
I feel like I listened to your podcast and went yes,
I
was
can't
like
argue with that.
Fired from a cannon.
like loose cannon. Yeah.
Well, but what started to change that? Do you think? You said you became friends in year 12. Is that because someone was playing Midnight Boggle with you, and that was Chris, or is it something else?
No.
Or you've never played Boggle.
No,
Okay.
I don't think Chris would play Boggle.
Mm.
No.
No, I would not.
But see, I respect that. You know, because he knows himself and what he likes and what he doesn't like.
Sweet.
And,
Go to bed early.
well, he could choose to play it and annoy me, and like by playing it in a certain way, and then but he doesn't. So there you go.
Oh, so like someone would go like, I know Kath gets upset about board games.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to play this game to make her fire
Play
up.
it in this way, yeah.
Yeah.
Just make
Because
up
that never
words.
happens with me.
Always. Okay, so then can you either recognise a time where you were like, actually, this person is my friend?
I think it was a bit. You'd say it was. I wouldn't say rough, but like we just didn't really associate with each other.
No.
We knew each other. We didn't really associate with each other, but we just grew up together.
Yeah.
And so we were just, you know, I think when later high school we became friends because we would. Christianity was our life,
Yeah.
and that was our obviously drawing us together, and then all the way through our life, you know, like partners we're good friends.
Yeah,
I have to stay friends with Kath, otherwise I'm not allowed to play with Nick.
that's correct.
So
Sounds a little bit like a child, doesn't it?
it is. But like, you know, Ray and Kath are good friends, and
Hang on, Rachel.
And we've had kids together.
Rachel is your wife. Ray
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Rachel. That's your
so
wife.
we've had kids together.
So it
and,
sounds like you're saying a guy's name. Just so you're aware.
Rachel, sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
if
our
you've listened
kids-
to the past 2 podcasts, you would know this.
Yeah,
That's
well,
okay.
maybe. Yeah.
Our kids are the same age,
If you got through
Yeah.
it.
so we've done life together.
And I think that's what I didn't just come to set the record
Clear the
straight.
air.
Although I did do that. I did want to do that. No, but I feel like that's the point of this, and that's what I reckon. We weren't like necessarily best friends in high school. I think we kind of, as you said, we had a shared community, and that became a shared history together in our sort of mutual group of friends. But like, probably like Chris and I, in any other context, we wouldn't necessarily have hung out together.
I totally agree. And
Yeah, like,
I'm
but
trying to say that nicely. But
yeah. No, I think we possibly even reflected on this like before.
Because what we don't really have that much interest together.
No, but we both like to perform. That was one thing I did think about.
Yeah, but I perform differently to you.
That is correct.
You like a stage, I like an audience. Does that make a sense? Like I like to be out front of church and do those sorts of things. You love a performance.
I think it's not that. There's sometimes not a huge difference.
Yeah,
and
okay.
It's both performative. So we both appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I think,
And
there's
Buffy.
lots
And
of
Buffy
and
as
Buffy.
well.
Agreed.
Oh, the TV show.
Yeah, we used to
Oh my
watch
God.
Buffy.
It's so 90s. Man, I love it. The
Still
fashion.
good.
Oh, there's something.
And Neighbours as well for a little bit.
And Neighbours. Yes, that is correct.
Oh, can we cut that out actually?
Oh, stop it. Do you care? Do you care what people
No, we're
think?
definitely not cutting that out. I have final say on the cuts.
I'm a massive Neighbours fan.
I'm not anymore, though. I used to be. Well,
I had a big
now.
break and then I started working.
Yeah.
And it used to be on every day. And then I'd watch 2 episodes a week and I get to the next week, I'm like, now I need to know what's happened. So I end up getting into it. So I've watched every episode.
it's done now.
I was coming back though.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh, another remake. Because we don't have enough of those.
No, it's not-
Yeah, wow.
No, it just got new funding, so they're starting up again.
Yeah. Someone took pity on them and went, all right.
It's probably like a guy or someone of like Chris's age who has had a sudden financial windfall.
Yeah,
And he's
gone,
like,
this is
"Oh,
what I really
I want to
love.
see your neighbours again.
Yeah.
it's
Well, it's
funny,
actually
the
Amazon
project.
that's bought it.
Amazon, yeah, I heard that. That's
So
right.
Oh, did they? Oh.
Been saying that Channel 10 could be going down.
Really?
It's really strong. What are we talking about?
I don't
Get
know.
onto this.
It's gone. But yes,
They're really
I
struggling.
think that's the thing. And now we're good friends and we it's weird because we don't necessarily like do all the same things, but we hang out together and
But isn't this a good example of our church?
yeah.
Is that it's just we're friends because we've got a common thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you're from, how old you are, or where you're from, or what you're into. The most important things in our lives, and I see that, and I've seen you grow with that, is Christ, and the same as mine.
Yep.
So this is what it's all about. We're completely different, but we
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
That's what-
And then we rib each other a little bit.
Yeah,
And now my
but that's
son
it.
and Chris rib each other about their footy teams.
they?
And so
Oh,
that's
mate.
like, well, Levi's got the competitive sort of streak that I have. And so that matches up well with Chris's interactions.
No, but we rib each other. Well, I
Yeah.
rip her more than she does to me, but it's because out of respect.
It's out of-
And
yeah.
like I respect Kath, and I love Kath, and we're good friends. And it's never malicious. It's
No.
just fun.
Yeah.
And because I know she gets so riled up. And it's hilarious.
Look, like, yeah.
Let's dig into that a little bit.
I know, look, I
I need a
think
couch for
everyone's
this.
different, and I'm like, a bit combative /
I think you're passionate about the things you really
I care about stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, I have a thought and a feeling, and my body's like, and it just responds to it.
Explode out.
You know what I mean? So like, yeah.
Is that like, if you're performing, is that like you're talking about performing before, is that one of the reasons why you like performing? Because you can kind of do that in a kind of
maybe?
possibly a socially acceptable way of doing it
Yeah.
on stage?
Maybe that's a good link. I don't know. I like telling stories, and I like telling stories like in a whole body kind of way, like not just with words and not just with in other kind of with other kind of means. And I think that's really engaging for me too. Like when I go and see live performance, I like movies and stuff, but there's something about being in the presence with people, being present with people, which I think we've discovered over the past couple of years of COVID stuff, that like you cannot replace that, you can't replace it.
Yeah, it's not as visceral, is it?
No, and it's one of those things, it's ephemeral, so it's there for a moment and then it's gone.
Add that to your boggle list.
Ephemeral's it's a good, I like that word. But it
Making
is
these words
like,
up.
I'm not making them up, I like them.
What does ephemeral mean?
It's where it's there. You can't touch it and hold on to it and see it. It's there in a minute for a moment
in the
and then
moment.
it's gone. Yeah. Like I think it would have been 1998. I was in year 11, and our drama teacher organised for us to go and see Beauty and the Beast, which was this big musical at the time in the city, probably at the Lyric Theatre, I want to say.
In 1998.
98, and
Was the casino there, or was it a different place? Theatre was a
maybe
different
maybe
place.
it was not that. Maybe it was the Capitol Theatre.
And Chris was starring as the Beast.
No.
Mate, there's no way I'd be going there.
No,
But
you were
like-
starring in the show.
But the person who was starring the show was Hugh Jackman, was Gaston, and he wasn't like the big star he is now. Like he was a rising star at that point, like he was moving into that. But like I have that for the rest of my life, the memory of seeing that and having that moment, and yeah, I think that's kind of, I like that. I think that's cool. And I was in the space with him. It wasn't just on the screen. Like he was there in that breathing the same air kind of thing.
Well, I enjoy theatre shows because I think it's very impressive that the actors or participants can remember their lines so
Yeah.
much. They're doing so much. Chris, why don't you like theatre?
Good question.
I don't know. I just find it boring.
You haven't seen the right play then.
Oh, but then
I used to find theatre boring and now I enjoy it more.
firstly, my attention span. I got a 40-minute attention span
Yep.
because of
Better stop
TV.
soon.
No, because of TV. That's my
Because of
first.
the episode, it's an episode length.
Yeah, it's
They're like an hour now though, some of
I
them.
know. That's why I struggle.
But you know, a musical's like 45 minutes. Or maybe it is closer to an hour first half.
With a break.
And then there's a break,
Yeah,
and then
so
you got my 40-minute second half.
There's your
generally.
first problem. Musical. Just say it. Don't sing it.
I
quicker.
agree with that. With musicals, I'm not on board.
And also,
Yeah.
most of the plays, where's the action? Where's the explosions? Where's the violence? Where's the...
You haven't. You haven't seen the right ones. Then that's what I reckon.
So, oh, look, maybe, but...
I went to. There was one time I went to New York, and it was really exciting. We went and saw some Broadway shows, and we went and saw some off-Broadway shows, and one of them was Evil Dead the musical, as in Evil Dead the movie, but made into a musical.
Goodness.
And they had a splatter zone, which was the first 5 rows. You had to wear a poncho because when they were cutting off arms, it was a blood spatter. Was
Is that something you'd like to do?
That's action. It was really, really great.
Yeah, I don't like horror stuff either.
I love horror. It's my jam.
Do you?
I love horror. Yep.
Oh, that's
Love it.
weird, man.
So,
Love
you
it.
could ask the question to Kath. Kath, why don't you like to sit and watch footy all day?
Nothing. I feel the same thing. Nothing.
Because
happens.
I'm going away with your husband to watch 8 games of footy in one weekend.
And you can enjoy that for yourself.
This is the NRL
Magic round.
Magic
There's
round.
a few of us going
and
up.
make it sound fun.
Boys trip.
They make it sound fun. It's not.
Not
gonna
me
be.
and Ray are gonna enjoy ourselves not going.
Go for
It's
it.
gonna happen.
What are you guys going to do? The theatre show.
I don't know. I'm like, maybe she can come over and we can just have like all 6 children just run amok.
And you could write a play.
We could, yeah, maybe we
About
could
your
just
lives.
get the 2 older ones and be like, look after the rest of them, or we could go off and watch a play maybe. Or the following weekend, maybe that's what we'll do.Maybe we'll go away. We'll go to Melbourne and watch like Harry Potter or something if it's there.
She'd love that.
And I'd love that too.
Cursed Child.
I
What's it
haven't
called?
I wouldn't
What's
like
called
that.
Cursed Child instead of Cursed Child?
I've heard people call it the Cursed Child.
Okay. Cool.
Cursed is a bit oldie Englishy. in
Yes.
terms
Curse
of-
them.
So maybe they want that vibe with Harry Potter.
It is a bit like that.
Yeah,
Which is set in the 90s.
it is.
That's what people have dated it to the 90s because of some of the references in it.
I like it. Haven't seen it.
Yeah, so like anyway, keep going.
Yep,
You're a 90s girl. Would you consider yourself a 90s girl?
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a good
All
era,
my
wasn't
music.
it? Yeah,
Well,
totally.
I read recently that the music
I reckon
you
we
listen to in
share
your
similar
teenage
music.
years is really, really, that would stays with you for your whole life. And so yes, I would concur.
I've heard that too, apparently with haircuts. You see people with a little bit of dated haircut, it comes from that's
Yeah.
their favourite time.
Yeah, wow.
Like where they felt like they were almost like...
I often go
happening
back to an undercut, which was big in our day.
Oh, it was gross, but yeah.
Anyway, and I'm just trying to think of the fashion.
Oh,
Because when we were in youth group,
embarrassing.
I remember because I was thinking about this the other day. Knitted jumpers was the big thing,
yeah.
and flannels.
Flannels. Oh my goodness.
It's a big grunge.
Midriff tops, and I had a mesh
Never had
top
one of
that
those.
went over the top of the midriff one. So it was chokers. Do you remember chokers? And little butterfly clips that like clipped up a whole
I
bunch
found
of.
that a little bit odd. That kind of that sounds very much like 10 Things I Hate About You.
Well,
There's
that
a
is
little- there's a fair-
90s.
Yeah,
That's yeah.
right at the end of the 90s.
Right, it's
isn't it?
right. It's in there.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that.
Jeans
fashion.
underneath skirts.
Never tried that one.
I loved that, and yeah.
Because you could be modest.
No, I thought it was a vibe. Like,
Yeah, you're like,
I was like, this is different.
Yeah.
Because then I was looking at a photo from us from
Oh, really?
schoolies,
Oh, yeah.
and I was going through our baggy stage. So we had we had
Those super baggy
everything's
pants.
baggy.
really, it was
Yeah.
like an American basketballer kind of.
Yeah.
It was just baggy ass,
And
man.
long, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like that skater grunge thing also. They had like
Yeah.
real baggy
Yeah.
pants as well. Yep.
It's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
It is very funny.
We've been on a few trips, haven't we? Schoolies. We went to Melbourne, Tasmania, which we went to Neighbours. Ramsay
That was
Street.
great. We went to the street, Ramsay Street. Oh. Yeah, we
was
were
fun.
quite excited about that.
Yeah, it was.
Actually, there was one that on Schoolies. There was a moment in Schoolies where I thought I didn't know that about Chris, and he's different to what I thought in a good way. I was like, he's crazy, but
But he likes Britney Spears.
oh, he loves Britney Spears, and again, we'll perform Britney Spears, and at one point performed on this big ball thing in Lycra, and it broke.
I used to wear a lot of
Fell into
Lycra.
it. He loved
did.
Lycra.
I still do actually,
You do
just
because you go
differently.
bike riding. No, but we travelled on the Spirit of Tasmania boat from Melbourne to Tasmania.
Launceston, I think it goes to.
Yes, yeah, and then
And Titanic was big at that stage.
yes, that's right. That's right. And then we travelled back again. And when we got back, it was really. I mean, it's notoriously kind of rough in there. But we all had we got off really early in the morning. It was awful. When you
It
feel
goes overnight.
yeah, and you feel seedy.
Yep.
And
Feel dirty.
it was a Sunday morning, and we thought, well, we'll go to a church service. And so
That'll clean me up.
it was weird. And so we all I just remember all of us had sea legs, so we're a bit swaying, and we were standing up in this very beautiful old school church with lots of elderly
back
people.
memories. I
Yeah,
don't
do you
remember this. No,
Oh,
I
well.
remember it now. But
So we're in the pews, like the old school ones we've got here at our church, and there were lots of elderly people, and I'm sort of thinking to myself, what am I going to say? And you just had no issue talking to whichever older person was around us at the time. You had this, we were sort of end of teenage years, and there's a little bit of awkwardness sometimes about but you were just like, no, you were helping these older ladies get their cups of tea and their biscuits, and you were engaging with them, and it was so natural for you. And I was like, who is this guy? I've not seen him do this kind of thing before. So I just thought, all right, maybe he's not as bad as I thought he was.
Sounds like the story. Like
do you know what I was probably, talking about?
Of your relationship. That's what it sounds like.
No, but
I'm
it's
really worried about this is going to come
friendship.
across like this.
Can I just say, I listened to something a little while ago which was there's all marriage stuff, but we're really uncomfortable about speaking positively, I think, about friendships, and having friendships are really important.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus calls us his friends. This is an important relationship for people to have as friends.
Yeah,
So,
in appropriate ways. I think you're 100% correct.
yeah. Oh, of course.
No,
but-
I'm just you got to make sure we're clear on that. But I think you're 100% right. But we're also the fact that we can learn from each other too, rather than just
Oh
being
man, yeah.
not being in a romantic relationship, but being friendships as well. We learn heaps from doing that. And as you said, Jesus calls us in the Bible to spend time with each other for that very reason. Because if we're a Christian, it's something I reflected on during COVID lockdowns and stuff, is that we lost to a certain degree, a lot of people lost the art of we need to be in relationship and just proximity to each other to bounce off each other and help us with how we're thinking and feeling and just everything. And then when you add in Jesus to the mix, what a big difference that makes to how we feel and how we process our emotions and our mental health and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I think. I went on a bit of a roll there, but I think you're 100% correct.
Didn't want to interrupt your flow.
Chris just looks staring to see. It's
40
gosh,
minutes.
this is boring. Yeah.
Is there an ad? Do we have an ad coming up?
I think that it is about 40 minutes too. What about, this is my question that I'm going to, that was the thing I was going to say. We're talking about friendships and we kind of we're joking, this sounds like the start of your wonderful relationships. That's when I noticed him. But now I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Oh.
What a bummer.
That's
I had it in my head.
That's right. We went on a trip to Brie. I remember doing that.
Cool.
Did we
yes,
did that
oh my
a few
gosh.
times or once?
We went in, was it your car or my mum's
Let's not tell a
Tarago?
story about me and another person.
Brewarrina.
It's not for here.
This is in Brewarrina.
Yeah.
Correct?
We
On the
were-
way.
And it's not scandalous, not bad.
No,
It just makes me look really bad.
That's fine. No, we were in my mum's Tarago, I think. and it was
such a great way to start.
And we drove all the way there, so it's a good 9-hour trip without even having stops to get there and back. And it's over the Easter long weekend is when we went, and so I remember coming back and it's just so much traffic through Blue Mountains, and so you make up funny games in the.
Yeah, we did.
In the car.
And whatever happens in the car stays in the car, because those games weren't great.
Well, it's like cabin fever in the car, kind of. Yeah. But yes, so we spent a lot of time with that little car of people.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I
Here
remembered.
we go. Got you back.
So we're spending...
Good padding.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Always.
Thanks. Just joking the story there, Kath. Thanks. We said that, like, we joked that it was about being a romantic relationship, but it's not. But also the fact that, like, you have identified, you guys are very, very opposite in terms of, like, we would suggest that you're very quite a rule follower, Kath.
Yeah.
Things have to be the right way.
Yep.
Whereas Chris is out there breaking windows.
Correct.
And
tackling me in a game.
Yeah,
in a softball game.
Tackling women.
T-ball.
Getting suspended. It's very different.
Yeah, we're talking school time though, aren't we?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, but what my point is,
I have grown up a bit since then.
That's what I'm trying to say though. That you both said you're also both growing up, and that's what's cool about it. And you've grown up as friends, and as you said, Chris, the only reason is because you've come together around Jesus. I think that's what's really cool about it, is that we could joke about it being the start of a scandalous relationship, but it's not, because we have to have these conversations that you're saying, Kath, about friendship, because friendship is so important. And I think that's what we're actually trying to do here, is while calling each other mortal nemeses, it kind of started out that way, but then it actually became something very different between you guys and many other people at church, to being something that's really encouraging and really helpful for other people to see, and a good way of modelling it. I think that's what I'm kind of getting from it. What probably need to wrap it up pretty soon, because you guys both need to go soon. I noticed that you haven't eaten any of your snacks, Chris.
No, but I'm excited to keep them home. Eat it all by myself.
What kind of like final words do you have to say about your friendship, because it is under Jesus? And I reckon you go first, Chris.
Yeah, I think I sort of said it before, that we came from so far apart.
Yeah.
But what drew us together, and then the closer we get, the more we realise there are a lot of common interests and themes. But I respect Kath, and that's the biggest thing. And that's why I can get away with what I get away with.
I think a lot of us actually.
As I said,
she's looking at me.
I'm not that man. I'm not that bad. We just have some fun, and that's all it is. And you got to have fun in our relationships. But yeah, I love Kath. I love what she does and who she is and what she's grown up, because I've seen that. I've seen her come from where she was to where she is now, and it's beautiful, and I love that. And I love that we're friends. I love that you're friends with my family.
Your wife? That's what you're going to say.
Yeah, I was trying to say that without saying it. But as I said, but it's not just you and me that are friends. It's me, you, and Nick and Ray, Rachel, and the kids are all friends, and they all get together, and that's it. And we're all there for each other. So we do catch up a lot. We come around for dinners, and me and Nick just watch footy, and the girls do whatever they do. Yep. Make the salads and...
Oh, goodness me. Just back away from that.
Yeah.
Get us drinks. And
just going to put the car in reverse. Put Kath's Rago in reverse.
I can't say something nice without bring it back a little bit. That's my problem.
And the reason is you knew it might rile Kath up a little bit. So,
correct. He was accurate.
No, but as I said, it's about respect.
Yeah.
So...
Final words?
A response and a final
response.
Word.
And look, we talk about Chris doing things and that he shouldn't do, but like I'm not a picnic with my people. I have to tell myself now, you want to keep your friends after this board game, Catherine. So just think about how you're playing it.
I thought you were about to say, what is it? You keep your enemies close.
No.
Friends close and your enemies closer.
Yeah.
That's actually what we should call this podcast.
I don't know if you should. No. Well, maybe you could. Yeah.
I'll put in the description.
Okay, sounds good. But yeah, I think I think too, like, it's really easy to surround yourself with people who are like yourself, and to not be in a position where you're perhaps going to be refined by someone else. And that's the interesting thing I think Chris and I have experienced over the years is, you know, the more I spend time with Chris and other people who are not necessarily the same as me, the more I'm refined under God. And that's also how it's meant to be too, that it shouldn't be an echo chamber of everyone having the same exact perspective all the time, but us learning how to live harmoniously with all different people, with Jesus being the reason that we're actually friends, which I think is countercultural and actually can be really hard. Like it wasn't always sunshine and roses, and it's taken us a while to get to a point where Chris knows how much he can joke before he offends me. I know how much I can kind of like go before I think, all right, I'm going to just let that go. You know, so like we now know how we can love each other basically, and not completely frustrate one another and think, well, that's it, friendship over. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's because you've spent lots of time together. But again, like the core thing is Jesus, and he's showing us how to relate to each other.
Yeah.
And especially you saying like you want to keep your friends after this particular board game, or like you know what you say, Chris, or whatever, is that we're all sinful, right? And what that's actually doing is exposing where like areas that we are sinful in, and because we're spending that time with each other, we can help. Like the Spirit can refine us in that way. Yeah. And I think you summed it up really well by what you said. And I think that's something that like we're trying to focus on in Sorrowville, even particularly for this year, is focusing on our friendships in ministry, so that we grow together as Jesus under his church, under his guidance, and hopefully that other people will see that, and as we grow. And I really like the idea of refining each other as friends. I think that's really cool, and something that I've got out of doing this what we originally built as like the grudge match between two friends, but I think that's what.
And also, just really quickly, it sort of sounds like our relationship is based on me just riling you up.
Yeah, no.
There are other times. We actually have a genuine friendship.
I think, but that's what I was getting to. I think that's where we're getting to. It was like it actually started like that.
Yeah.
The first 20 minutes started like that, but then the rest of it is talked about how much you respect each other. And I think that's what's really special.
Well, you can kind of hear in the way we've been. This is it. Like this is what it looks like.
Yeah, this is right.
Yeah, this is what it's matured towards. This is what it's been refined as, and I think that's really encouraging for me, and hopefully for everyone that's listens. Anything else you want to throw in before I wrap up the chips?
It's been good.
Yeah.
First couple counselling session.
Oh my gosh.
Just as we moved away from it, he's like, let me bring it back.
I mean, you gave that opportunity. I was like, don't, like, just finish it. And
okay. I was just
this is what happened. So I know. I was like, oh, he's going to say something.
Okay, final retort. You wouldn't know about that, Chris.
No, I just allow you to have that moment.
Okay, no worries. We'll leave that.
You're the bigger person, are we? Yeah. Well, who's been on 3 times?
You need to end it. I'm just saying.
This is the thing. We've now revealed where Chris's sin is.
My response as well.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not very kind or
that's right. Well,
humble.
That's the reason you said, you gave the opportunity. Why do you think I'm wrapping it back to the start? And that's why we need to wrap up the chips, everyone. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kath.
Thank you.
I love you guys. You're awesome.
I like you, Joel.
Sorry.
You didn't say love.
You're the needy one.
No.
Yeah, well, thank you for everyone that's been watching on YouTube. Hopefully you saw me throwing... Yeah, thanks, Greaves. I just noticed that you had 17 views on your last one on YouTube, Chris. And Kath, there it is, 34 on your one. Double. You doubled it.
The first one.
The first one, oh gosh, I mean, I was wrapping it up. But
this is what happens, I told you.
I know, we've got so much content on there, I just can't find it, Let's have a look, hang on.
But
hang on, analytics.
What about
how do I work this?
What about the downloads of audio.
You only had 30 on your first one.
Yeah, but audio, mate.
All right, I'll go to the audio
He's
too.
trying desperately. I'm still winning.
He's like, just audio, mate.
No.
And you're like,
Fine. You wait. After tonight, when I get home,
I'm just gonna.
oh, you're just gonna get all my devices.
Are you gonna call this one though yours or mine? Like who are we gonna say is on?
Did we not just say it was going to be called Controversy
No,
Part 3?
don't call it controversy. Well, like, don't call it. It's not.
Grudge.
That's not what I wanted to call it either.
A fight to the death. Grudge match.
I feel like that's
30
false
What about
advertising.
couples counselling?
Oh, man,
don't.
you really shouldn't have keep bringing this up, Chris, because Kath's had 45 downloads on audio, and you only had 39 on part 1. And then part 2, you only got 23.
Hey.
So I suppose you can add them together.
It's about quality, not quantity.
No,
Yes,
for you,
exactly.
for you, it's quantity.
Doesn't matter. I've changed my tune now. It's
It's all right.
about quality.
Hopefully
He's
this
better
one.
than
This
yours.
one will up it. This one will up it.
I had better feedback from the fans.
All right, mate.
The comments were heaps better for me. It's more in my favour. All right, let's wrap up the chips.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're watching, I've been Joel. I have been the referee in this match, and I very much enjoyed it. And we always like to finish with a one-way.
One way
One
and
way.
one way. That's 2 one-ways, so you only got one. So
I only need one.
I win
It's
this
only
one. I
one.
win this one.
Okay, that's enough.